My friends, isn't it true that sometimes the people we trust the most hurt us the deepest? We give our heart openly, but what do we receive in return? Often disappointment, betrayal, and pain. Yet let me ask you, was the problem really with trust or with where we placed it? Trust is not weakness, trust is not foolishness. But excessive trust without wisdom becomes our biggest suffering. Today, let us understand how can we trust wisely, love deeply, and still protect our hearts with the guidance of God's wisdom. Life is a journey where relationships shape our happiness. We cannot live without trust because trust is the foundation of love, friendship, and togetherness. But when trust is blind, when it is too much, it turns into an expectation that hurts us. Scriptures and saints teach us that we must place our highest trust in God and with people. We must balance trust with understanding. Today I will share with you how to stop trusting people too much while still living with love, compassion, and wisdom. Trust is sacred but not blind. This single truth has the power to change the way we live, the way we connect, and the way we protect our inner peace. Trust is like a seed. If we place it in fertile soil, it will grow into a beautiful tree that gives us shade, fruits, and comfort. But if we scatter that seed carelessly in barren ground, no matter how much water and sunlight we give, it will never grow. In the same way, when we give our trust to the right person, it strengthens the relationship and creates harmony. But when we give it blindly, it leads only to disappointment and hurt. Think of your own life. How many times have you trusted someone with your secrets, your dreams, or even your heart, only to realize later that they didn't value it? Perhaps you gave them chance after chance, believing their words without noticing their repeated actions. At that moment, you may have felt betrayed, even broken. But let us pause and reflect. Was the mistake entirely theirs, or was it also our blind faith that ignored the warning signs? Trust is not about suspicion, nor about doubting every step. It is about awareness. It is about choosing wisely where to place something as precious as your faith. Imagine someone walking in the night with a lamp in their hand. If they keep their eyes open, the lamp will guide them safely through the path. But if they close their eyes and say, "I trust the path completely, I don't need to look," they are bound to stumble. This is the difference between sacred trust and blind trust. Sacred trust is when you walk with open eyes, guided by wisdom and protected by awareness. Blind trust is when you shut your eyes, ignoring reality, and later wonder why you fell. In daily life, we see this everywhere. A student who blindly trusts his friend's notes without studying himself will suffer in exams. An employee who trusts every word of a colleague without verifying the truth may lose opportunities. A person who blindly trusts in relationships without seeing patterns may face heartbreak. In all these cases, the problem is not trust itself, because trust is beautiful. It is the blindness attached to it. Sacred trust means respecting both your heart and your intelligence. It means saying, "I trust you, but I also observe you. I believe in you, but I also notice your consistency." This way, trust becomes stronger because it is built on truth, not illusion. When someone proves their reliability over time, your trust grows naturally. And even if they make a mistake, your awareness protects you from complete collapse because you didn't close your eyes completely. Let me share a simple example. Imagine you have a very close friend. You share your happiness, your problems, your dreams with them. One day, you tell them something very private, and later you find out they shared it with others. Your heart aches. If you keep giving them the same level of trust without any thought, then you are not practicing sacred trust. You are practicing blind trust. But if you forgive them while also becoming cautious about what you share next time, you are respecting yourself. You are protecting your heart while still keeping the relationship alive. This is wisdom. God has given us both a soft heart and a sharp mind. The heart allows us to connect, to love, to trust. The mind allows us to think, to analyze, to observe. When we use only the heart, we risk being misled. When we use only the mind, we risk becoming cold and distant. But when we combine the two, we live with balance. Trust then becomes a sacred act, a conscious choice rather than an emotional gamble. The saints and wise teachers remind us again and again, human beings are bound to make mistakes. No one is perfect. If we blindly expect perfection, we are setting ourselves up for hurt. But if we recognize human nature and still trust with awareness, then even when someone fails, we do not collapse. We know it was possible, we were prepared, and our foundation remains strong. So, my friends, trust is indeed sacred, but it should never be blind. Do not give your faith carelessly to every word or promise. Instead, watch for actions, for consistency, for sincerity. Protect your heart as you would protect a treasure, because it is one. And above all, remember that the one place where trust will never be betrayed is with God. Place your deepest trust in Him, for He sees your pain, your sincerity, and your effort. When people fail you, His strength will carry you. When people break promises, His blessings will sustain you. This is the art of sacred trust. To trust people with awareness, to trust yourself with courage, and to trust God with your whole heart. In this way, your life will be filled with wisdom, your relationships will be stronger, and your soul will remain at peace no matter how many storms you face. Too much trust leads to expectations, and expectations are often the silent roots of our greatest pain. When we place too much trust in someone, we naturally begin to expect that they will always stand by us, always understand us, always support us in the way we imagine. But life has a different rhythm. Human beings are imperfect. No one, no matter how much they love us, can live up to every expectation we create in our mind. And when reality doesn't match the picture in our heart, we feel hurt, betrayed, or abandoned. The truth is, the deeper our expectations, the deeper our disappointments. Think about a simple situation in daily life. A close friend promises to meet you at an important event. Because of your trust, you expect them to be there on time, cheering you on. But suddenly, they get stuck in traffic or an emergency comes up. They miss the moment. Your heart feels heavy, not only because they couldn't make it, but because you had built an image in your mind of their presence, their smile, their support. The pain you feel is not just about their absence, but about the expectation you had silently created. If you had trusted them without building an inflexible expectation, you may still feel disappointed, but not broken. Too much trust attaches us to a belief that people will never fail us. But the nature of human life is that people will fail, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes by their own weakness. The problem is not in loving people or trusting them. The problem begins when we place them on a pedestal of perfection. We silently think, they can never lie to me, they can never hurt me, they can never forget me. And when reality shows us otherwise, the very same trust that once felt so sweet turns into bitterness. Let us look at family. A child trusts their parents completely. They expect their parents to always understand their feelings, their choices, their struggles. But parents are also human. They may not always grasp what the child is going through. When the child places too much trust, with the expectation of perfect understanding. Even a small disagreement feels like rejection. The same happens in friendships and marriages. One partner trusts so deeply that they expect the other to never make a mistake. But when mistakes happen, as they inevitably do, the trust turns into cracks, and the cracks into pain. Now imagine another angle. Suppose you go to work every day and put in your best effort. You trust your manager, and therefore you expect recognition, appreciation, or promotion at the right time. But if those expectations are not met, your trust begins to waver. You feel your loyalty was wasted. Yet in reality, the manager may have his own limitations, or perhaps he simply didn't see things the way you imagined. It doesn't always mean betrayal. It often just means misalignment between your expectation and their capacity. This is where wisdom enters. Trust is necessary to build relationships, but when that trust grows into rigid expectation, it starts to control our peace. We must remind ourselves people are human. They are bound to change, to forget, to falter. When we understand this deeply, we still trust people, but we do not expect perfection from them. We give them the freedom to be human. And when they fall short, we feel compassion rather than bitterness. Imagine you are holding a beautiful glass vase. The more tightly you grip it, the more likely it is to slip and shatter. The looser, gentler hold keeps it safe. Similarly, when we grip people with strong expectations, the relationship often breaks. But when we hold them with gentle trust, without clinging, without demanding, we give space for love to breathe. Too much trust that breeds expectation suffocates both you and the other person. Balanced trust without rigid expectation allows freedom and harmony. This does not mean we stop trusting, nor does it mean we stop loving. It simply means we shift our highest trust toward God, because unlike people, God never fails. When we put our deepest expectations on Him, we find peace. People may come late, people may forget, people may misunderstand, but God always understands, always listens, always holds us in His protection. With this spiritual grounding, when someone fails us, we do not collapse, because our foundation was never built only on them. Think of a tree. If its roots are shallow and depend only on rainwater, one dry season will kill it. But if its roots reach the underground water, it will survive every drought. In the same way, if our trust and expectations are rooted only in people, one disappointment will shake us. But if our trust is rooted in God, no storm can destroy us. So let us trust people with kindness, but not create unshakable expectations from them. Let us give love freely, but also remember that humans are limited. Let us keep our faith strong, but let that faith rest in the divine, where expectations turn into peace, not pain. When we master this art, our relationships become lighter, our heart becomes freer, and our soul remains untouched by disappointment. Because then, even if people fail us, our trust in God carries us forward with strength and serenity. Learn to balance heart and mind. This lesson, when practiced, can save us from countless disappointments and bring immense peace to our lives. The heart is a powerful source of love, compassion, and connection. It allows us to forgive, to nurture, to trust, and to bond deeply with others. But the heart, when it acts alone, can sometimes blind us. It can make us ignore warning signs, overlook repeated mistakes, and cling to people who do not value us. On the other side, the mind is a sharp instrument of logic, awareness, and analysis. It helps us to see patterns, to understand consequences, and to protect ourselves from unnecessary harm. Yet, if we live only by the mind, we may become cold, calculating, and distant, unable to enjoy the sweetness of relationships. The true art of life is not choosing between heart or mind, but learning to balance the two. Think of a bird with two wings. One wing represents the heart, and the other represents the mind. If it tries to fly with only one wing, it will stumble, fall, and struggle. Only when both wings move together does the bird soar gracefully in the sky. In the same way, if we live only by the heart, we may drown in emotions, and if we live only by the mind, we may dry up in logic. The balance of both gives us stability, direction, and freedom. In daily life, this balance is constantly tested. For example, imagine you have a friend who often borrows money but rarely returns it. Your heart says, "They are my friend, they must need it. I should help them again." Your mind says, "But they have not returned what they took last time. If I keep giving without thinking, I may lose both my money and my peace." If you listen only to the heart, you may continue to give and feel drained later. If you listen only to the mind, you may cut them off completely and lose the relationship. But balance says, "I will help in a way that doesn't harm me." Perhaps offering support in another form, not by giving money again. This balance protects you while still keeping the bond alive. Another example can be found in family life. Parents often face this challenge with their children. The heart tells them to fulfill every demand, to give every toy, every gadget, every freedom. The mind tells them to set limits, to discipline, to say no when needed. If they follow only the heart, the child may grow spoiled, unable to handle life's difficulties. If they follow only the mind, the child may feel unloved or controlled. But when heart and mind are balanced, parents show love with boundaries. They give enough freedom for the child to feel trusted and enough discipline for the child to grow responsible. This creates harmony, not conflict. Relationships of every kind need this balance. In love, if you only listen to the heart, you may overlook serious red flags, dishonesty, disrespect, or lack of effort. But if you only listen to the mind, you may become so cautious that you never allow intimacy or vulnerability. When you combine both, you allow your heart to feel the connection, but your mind to guide the boundaries. You give love, but not at the cost of self-respect. You forgive, but not to the point of being used. This is wisdom in action. Even in the workplace, the balance of heart and mind is essential. A leader who uses only the heart may try to please everyone, ending up exhausted and unable to make tough decisions. A leader who uses only the mind may achieve goals, but create fear, distance, or resentment among the team. But a leader who balances both inspires loyalty, respect, and productivity. They show kindness when needed, but also firmness when necessary. People feel cared for, yet they also feel guided. That balance makes a leader truly great. On a deeper spiritual level, this balance is also about where we place our ultimate faith. The heart pushes us to love others unconditionally, but the mind reminds us that people are human and will make mistakes. If we lean too heavily on others with blind devotion, we may be shattered when they fail us. But if we use both heart and mind, we continue to love others while anchoring our ultimate trust in God. This way, even if people hurt us, our foundation remains unshaken because it rests in the divine who never fails. A wise person once said, "The heart without the mind is like a ship without a compass, and the mind without the heart is like a compass without a ship. One without the other cannot reach the destination." When we learn to balance both, we live with awareness but without becoming bitter, and with love but without becoming blind. So, how do we practice this balance in our daily life? It begins with small awareness. Before making decisions, pause. Listen to what your heart is saying. and then reflect on what your mind is warning. Do not silence either voice. Weigh them together and then act. Over time, this habit becomes natural, and you begin to see that most of your pains came not from love itself, but from imbalance. When the heart ran wild without the mind, you were hurt. When the mind took over without the heart, you felt lonely. Balance is the middle path, the safe path, and the wise path. In the end, remember this truth: the heart makes us human, the mind makes us wise, and the balance of both makes us complete. If you learn this art, your relationships will thrive, your decisions will become stronger, and your inner peace will remain untouched. This is how we stop trusting people too much. Not by closing the heart, not by shutting the mind, but by allowing both to walk together, guiding us like two steady hands of God Himself. Place ultimate trust in God. This is perhaps the most powerful